My life. Oh, hey, everybody. Happy New Year. I am so happy to have you here with me today for our new Way to Vision Board workshop. I know some of you have been joining me ever since 2021. This is like our fifth year or fourth year for the annual Vision Board Challenge. But for those of you who are new to vision boarding with me, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who are new, I love that somebody's brought all their friends and they're watching this on a TV. For those of you who don't know me, I am Colette Baron-Reid. I have been working in the world of metaphysics and the intuitive arts full-time for over 37 years. I have got 19 best-selling oracle card decks worldwide and 7 books on personal transformation. And I have lots more in the works. I am a published artist also, and I live and breathe what I am teaching here today. Actually, this is the 5th year hosting Vision Board event at the beginning of the year. And I've actually led, we counted over 100,000, actually hundreds of thousands of people through our process. It works. I know it works. And today is Epiphany. And I've done 39 years of vision boards, so over 40 vision boards, I'm telling you, because I've already done 3 this year. So I know that's going to add up to more. Hi, Mark. Want to say hi to people?
No.
No. Okay.
I have a message for you though.
You do?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says about downloading. Remember downloading the PDF?
Oh, no, I did not know about this. I did not get this. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. So I have something to tell you first. The PDF worksheet, there's a PDF worksheet. It's on the dashboard, you guys. We had over 40,000 people trying to download it and it crashed. 40,000 people! I totally didn't know that. I tried to download it and it crashed. Okay, crashed the server. So if you saw an error before, try it again on the dashboard. If you didn't get to download it before the event, don't worry about it. I'm going to walk you through everything. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Wow, we got over 40,000 people this year. Yes. Okay, because you know why? Because this works. And what I've already taught you over the years works, but I'm going to teach you something new this year that works unbelievably. And I'm doing it today because today is Epiphany. And being the date of Epiphany, I get to share the Epiphany that I had this year and tested that Epiphany, found out, wow, and now I'm going to share that Epiphany with you today. So I'm super pumped about that. So every year, whenever I do a vision board, bless you, Mark, or teach one, I always ask myself, what else could there be? Like I always love to evolve what I've been taught. So I bring in what I've learned, and then I challenge myself, to discover a new way to teach it to you. And that's why over the past few years, I shifted from the more acquisitional viewpoint of a vision board, which is to get something, into more of an actualization, which is how we become someone new when we manifest the things that we say we want, right? So I've sort of done this over the years, and now I've got something new to share with you today. So I always ask myself, and this year I asked myself, what are the limits to this board? And I'm going to show you the board that we did. This is Mark's and my board last year. Can you see that? Bum. Yes, you can, right? This was our board. So I got really obsessed about looking at this board and asking questions about the board. Thanks, Mark. Okay. So even though I started that board from a place of inspiration, when I really look closely at the thing, thank you. Oh gosh, thanks, honey. Right, you notice that the border, which was always so important, is actually a stopping point. Right now, I never saw it that way because literally that's how it was taught to me all these years ago. Was like the border is the most important piece. Why? Because the border asks the universe or God or spirit, depends on your language, it doesn't really matter, to deliver what's inside the border, right? We're saying that is the container of what we are co-creating in the world, or saying that we want to manifest, right? But if you notice, other than the center focus on spirit, which is what we do every year, which we're going to do again this year, to remind me of all the activity that goes on in the invisible quantum field, because we always have a symbol of spirit. Thanks, babe. I don't think we need, say hi. You can put your face in there now and say hi to people.
Hello, everybody.
That's Mark. Okay.
I'll keep it here until you're done with it.
Okay, fine. So there's nothing on the board. Is there? Like if we make a statement, this or something better now manifests for me for the highest good, or this or something better now manifests for me, thank you, God, thank you, universe, whatever. That's always been a very key piece, the border and the thank you and a commitment that this or something better. But kind of like when you think about that, I was like punching holes in everything I've taught now up till now. I go, well, what does that actually mean when I say that? Am I saying this? Or I'll take this, or you got to give me something better, or I'm not going to be happy. Like, I just like saying, like, some of us actually might have this experience, right? Like, this or something better. I really want this thing, but I'll take something better. But we don't really know what that is, do we? We don't know. So there's really nothing on the board that actually brings us into that state of being where we are in total trust. And what's missing is something I'm going to teach you about today, is what I call the zone of synchronicity. And that is the biggest epiphany that you're going to hear about today. I'm going to show you how to do it in a little bit, but I just wanted to talk about it first because we need to have some type of relationship to the field of potentiality, which exists outside the borders in a much bigger way than it does inside. Now, I always found that it always felt a little limited, but the way I had learned it 39 years ago was that we were putting a container around our desired outcomes. The point that I was taught, and that I have taught all these years, was that showing a container, showing this border, enables spirit, the universe, to say, not everything, this, right? And that made total sense to me at the time, and it made even total sense to me last year. So then I started wondering, thank you, baby, you can put it down. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Mark. All right. I so appreciate it. I never even thought about where would we put that thing. So where could I make space for the things that weren't on the board, that were even better for me, that what I was inspired to put on the board? Now, I want you to think about this, and I'm going to look at the chat in a second. So whenever you've received something, and I'm going to assume many of you have done a vision board before, and the reason why you keep doing it is because this shit works, all right? And even if it doesn't all come right away, something comes. If I've added up all my vision boards over 39 years, they have all added up to be exactly, if not the way I expected it, but that's all come true to a degree. But it has never come true exactly as I anticipated. So would you say that it's synchronicity that puts things together to bring whatever that is in your life, right? Right? This is very true, right? When do we get it? No, synchronicity brings these things together, right? So why don't we have a zone of synchronicity on these boards to really remind us that when we look at the board, we kind of just look at what's inside the container. So I'm going to be showing you again, I'm giving the carrot, but I want us to think about that, right? Like, what is there? Like, it never comes because I put it there. It comes because the universe puts all these things together for me without me having a freaking clue how that happens. And then kerblang, there it is. So why wouldn't I want to be focused more on my relationship to that very truth than I do on everything that I put inside the border? So I'm always broadcasting the frequency of my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that have an impact on what's inside that border. You will agree with me. You are the same. We broadcast and receive a frequency between us and the quantum field, the universe, God, spirit, whatever. There's a relational dynamic that happens between us. And when we include synchronicity in it, not just by a quick statement at the bottom of the board, like this or something better, it's going to be great, okay, thanks. We add it. We put in a lot more focus on that, saying that, okay, I am going to really zone into synchronicity, because this is really about intentional synchronicity. That's why we do vision boards. We align with synchronicity. That's the point of it. And we train our brain. And I will tell you this, I've done so much scientific research. Most of you know I'm a complete nerd, and I have a book coming out in September. So this is an entire year of this kind of teaching that I'm going to be doing. because it lines up with neuroscience, that we actually are like this technology that either aligns us with the thing that we say we want or aligns us with what we say we don't want because we've rehearsed it over and over again. So these are really, this is the vision board is a way for us in which to rehearse what it is that we are co-creating and remind us of a relationship that we have to a power greater than ourselves. So we want to make sure that we include that this year. So the question that I asked, and I'm going to show you how this came about, was how can I go beyond those perceived limits and represent all of the incredible things that I couldn't have conceived of so that I could continue to really trust this? Well, obviously we don't know what a picture, we couldn't pick out a picture for that because we don't know what it is. But I did figure out how to do that. I did figure out this year how to evolve our vision boards once again. And I'm so excited about sharing this with you. So over these next 2 hours, I'm going to share my tried and true steps that still work to create a vision board. 7 steps, they work 100%. And some of you have heard these before, and you've joined me for the Vision Board Challenge, which I used to do over 7 days. But what I realized what I wanted to do this time was give you a 2-hour workshop on how to create the map or the template that you're going to need to know about first before you do your board. And if those of you who already started your boards, you'll see how you could maybe shift it a little bit or add to it. Anyway, then I'm going to guide you through a unique spirit-led creative process, of which an entire book is given at the end of the year, but you're going to get part of it today to help you bring your visions to life this year and remind you of who's really in charge. And it's not you and it's not me, but it is the invisible world of consciousness that is a higher consciousness, that is God, spirit, universe, quantum field, whatever it is. So today's event is a taste of this new manifesting methodology. As I mentioned, my book's going to be about it in September 30th. But it's enough to get you started with a brand new way to approach your manifesting this year. And I've already done it, and it works like a charm. And if you want to go deeper into this kind of work, I'll tell you how to do that with me at my event Beyond Limits, which is in 12 days. And I know a batch of you are already coming. I'm really super excited to see you there. But let's just go ahead. I'm like all over the map right now, and I want to get started with this because these 2 hours are going to go by lightning fast. So grab some paper to take notes. And grab a sheet of paper or a journal and a pen or fine liner marker for our creative process. And remember, this is a template today. It's a demo. Okay, so don't worry about being perfect. You're just going to bring an open mind, an open heart, and start thinking about what you want to call into your life in 2025. Do you have more things to tell me? No? Okay, good. Whenever my husband comes over, I think someone else texted him. So let's start with why we are shifting gears today and embracing a fresh approach to vision boards. Now, those of you who have come over the last few years, I already have challenged the old school way of doing vision boards, which was acquisitional, which is where you put stuff on the board that you want to get. Don't get me wrong. I love traditional vision boards. They can be powerful tools. I'm going to give you a quick story. I remember one year I did it, and I took out a picture, and I've always done mine by hand. And I looked at this. It was this one section around travel, and I saw this weird looking tree, a photograph of this tree in a magazine. I was like, oh, that is cool. Well, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to cut it out and put it on my board. And I saw that it was called a Joshua tree. Now I didn't know where they grew or where they were, but I thought that looks cool and that's interesting. And my statement was I travel to new and exciting places and have amazing experiences with people close to me. So sure enough, okay, I put that on the board. 6 months later, I did a photo shoot with my friend Deborah Samuel in Santa Barbara, and she took me to this area where there were these dry salt beds, and we drove through a place and we had to stop the car for gas. And what was the place called? Joshua Tree. Okay. Like these things can be powerful tools. Okay. Like, you put in, I wanted a white Jeep, this with tan interior. And I put it on my board one year and I got a white Jeep with tan interior that was really old and it was a jalopy, but I got exactly that because that's what I could afford. And it came to me in the perfect form that was right for me. So yes, vision boards with stuff on it work. But they do have limitations too, just in the way they were meant to be created with a focus on manifesting what's inside the borders, right? So there were things on there that in my earlier boards that I had resisted and I had fought against when they didn't work, and I thought the boards didn't work. And I know tons of people say that, well, it didn't work and it wasn't the same. And I will tell you a way to erase that concept right out, throw it out the window, because the way I'm going to show it to you today is a way for you to include the universe in the conversation on the board. So originally, again, the original vision boards were supposed to highlight the things you put on the board to yourself, right? That's the simple, and to signal to the universe this is what you wanted to create, right? They've always focused on external goals. That's how I learned them in the beginning. Nothing wrong with that. When I first started vision boards, my vision boards were all about literally having enough money to pay my rent. It was simple things. They were nothing fancy schmancy or big. They were like a roof over my head, food for my dog, like happiness, making sure that, I could pay my taxes, and then also being able to go somewhere, very simple things. And the things that we want to acquire, achievements we desire, stuff that we think will bring us happiness in some form. And for some of us, we start not having much at all and starting with small things. And that is exactly perfect. So obviously there's nothing wrong with a traditional vision board. But as I mentioned, the important piece missing in that whole equation is how we want to feel and our connection to spirit, the conscious universe, God, your higher power, whatever it is you like to call that intelligence that is greater than you. Like I like spirit of the universe. You're going to hear me swap it out, quite a bit. But find the word. It's really important you find the word you like to use. So you're not put off by when let's say I talk about God and you're like totally not for religion. You're like, ew, but who cares? Call it something else. Call it universe if it's easier, right? It doesn't matter what you call it. It's just working all the time. So in what I have noticed over the years, including myself, well, people will put something on their board because deep down they're looking for a particular experience that they believe they will have when that thing comes to them, right? So it's totally fine to create the old school vision board and to be clear on what you want. Yes, like that. This would be old school only. Never mind, I won't pick it up again. That it's old school in that it's got the border and it's got stuff in the center, right? But I moved it, which I've taught you this, into, over the past few years, into it being more of a feeling state and ensuring that that's what we focus on when we do it. But again, when you don't do that and you're just putting this stuff on there, you're not understanding that there's any more when you look at it. So beyond the limitations of the board you've created, there's a whole world of opportunities waiting for you you couldn't even imagine when you first started cutting out those pictures. Now, I think we will all agree that we know that there is a field of unlimited potential. There is a world of opportunities that genuinely exist. And forget about society or anything that says you can't have that, the limitations imposed upon you. We have to know, and we know, that the universe is full. It is full with meaningful experiences, opportunities, things you want, etc. It's true, it's there, right? What limits us is our perspective on that. How many times, again, have you wanted something and you didn't get the exact form of what you wanted, but you got something even better you didn't realize was possible, or didn't realize that's exactly what you needed or wanted to begin with? I'm going to just see here, right? Yes. Okay, perfect, right? Lots of you, I'm looking at the chat. Oh, that's where I look, by the way. The chat's over here. And so when we place something on our vision board, we are saying, this is what I am manifesting. And that's so powerful. But I know the human mind, because it can limit us because we get attached to the exact form, sometimes the specific pictures and the words and ideas that we put on there, and we forget to leave space for what might really be in our highest good. And spoiler alert, we might have to sail some stormy seas before we get to that highest good, because we actually have to change and evolve into the person that we need to be. So if we're focused on only the form, and I keep going like this because the board is back there, the exact picture of the car, the house, the trip, or the relationship, And I know the trippy thing is sometimes you get the exact picture of the car, the house, the trip, right? Sometimes you do. But if that doesn't come, it can create resistance when the universe offers you something that doesn't look like what's on the board. So I think that's where we all get a little tripped up, especially for those of us who have done boards and we've seen that they work. But then there's this other piece that didn't work the way we had it. And it's like, well, does that mean it didn't work? Well, what does that mean? Should I not be as happy for that or whatever, right? So we may end up having blinders on because we've got these things, but what about that, right? And you cannot see the gifts in front of you because you're caught up in the form or the timing of what you think you want, and you miss what's staring you in the face. Now, I'll tell you a secret. Well, it's not a secret. It's like I've talked about it all the time. What am I saying? It's not a secret. Both Mark and I, we had some must-haves when it came to a relationship, okay? Now, one of the must-haves was I was never going to date another guy without any money, okay? Outside of all the feelings I wanted to feel, which I knew about by then. I'd learned all about that. That was, I thought, was going to be a big deal breaker. The guy had to have money, okay? Now, when I met Mark, he did not have a pot to piss in, okay, when I met him. But I swear to God, had I only focused on that, I would have walked away because that was no way. That was a deal breaker, right? And he didn't check off another box on my list, and I didn't check off a box on his either. My husband had always dated tall, slim, blonde models. Now, don't be mad at him. Okay, he's a good-looking guy. That's who he was attracted to, and that's who he got. I am not that, okay? A short, dark-haired, curvy girl was not on his list, nor was a blonde on mine, okay? Like, I'd never dated a guy that looked like him. He'd never dated a girl that looked like me. But we are perfect for each other now. And had we been so attached to this is what it has to look like, we would have missed out. I would have missed out on him if I was only looking for what my list was that I was staring at every day on that board in my house. Does that make sense to everybody? We are perfect for each other, you know, and I intuitively, I remember him driving up in his little car. And I went, oh no, don't let this be him. Please don't let this be him. Don't let this be him. Like, please. No, and then there he was. Oh. And I was like, but the feeling I got, and I was completely dumbfounded, and there he was, and I couldn't talk. Literally, me cannot talk. Can you believe that? I got so shy. I didn't know what to say to him. There he was standing there picking. He had a sheepskin jacket off, and it was coming off in his black top, and I'll never forget it. And he was like this and worried about that. And I'm like, just like, I'm going to marry you, and you don't know it because I'm psychic. Anyway, whatever. So, but sometimes you get exactly what you want, and it doesn't actually give you the experience you really wanted. And tell me if that's ever happened to you, right? Right? Right. You got it, and you're like, that's not what I really wanted. That's not how I want to feel, because it doesn't actually give you the experience you really wanted. Like when I got a record deal, I thought that's all I ever wanted. I spent my entire life chasing that, and it gave me nothing other than a whole lot of insecurity and a lot of understanding that I was genuinely talented, but it was nothing that I expected or what I genuinely wanted. At the end of the day, the music business was not for me, and that's all I thought I ever wanted. And when I got it, I was like, wow, I got literally every single thing that I have ever put on my board, that I've ever said I thought I wanted, that I've worked so hard towards. And I'm like, I don't feel like this. I got everything that I needed from this profession. So wild. So we don't want to deny the energy behind what you want, but we want to release the need for it to appear in a certain way. So when you trust that what you want will show up in its highest form, you are literally allowing the universe to bring it to you in the way that it's meant to. So rather than getting attached to a fixed image, and even though we say that we don't get attached to the fixed image, the more we look at an image over and over again, it kind of gets locked in our heads. That's why I always include feelings. Or when I've done a board like that one, we both, Mark and I, put the feelings down, and we accompany it with a journal, like a page saying like, we know what it all means because the feeling state. So we want to lean into the feeling of what you want, and then we'll trust that it will show up when and how it's meant to. So I'm going to quickly go over my 7 steps that work for creating a vision board that I've taught each year. And I still all believe that all of these things are valid. But I realize there's still a level of limitation that isn't clear. So I'm going to teach you about what better clarity could we get, how could we do this better, and how could this work better. So as I said, I spent the first half of the year, really praying on it and challenging myself to see this differently. What could be missing? And so after we go through the list, I'm going to share how we're going to expand on the steps. And I'll tell you, like I said, I've already done this. I did it a few times this year. My mind was blown by how things came together and how easy it was for me to stop chasing something when it was clear that the path was turning into a different direction. And I was like and it was amazing. So what I'm going to show you this year is just going to power charge the vision board that you already know how to make. Now, for those of you who are brand new, that's awesome. So you're going to learn something from scratch. Yay. Now, we have already touched on this, but step 1 is when you think about the experience you want to call in this year. Now, if you're not sure what that might be, we want to ask Spirit for inspiration. And this is where we put a representation of Spirit in the center of our boards. Now, we've got this little fun thing there. Now, all things start in the realm of spirit, right? And we create that spiritual symbol in the center to make the board come alive because spirit is in the center of all things. The realm of spirit is where everything is created. Then we created a border around our boards to let spirit know this is what we're calling into form. Now, you've seen my board with the big giant black border, right? So you are asking, oh, the screen is black? You guys who can't see? Oh, there should be a slide on the screen. You can see it? Is it good now? Okay, great, thanks. No, they couldn't see it. Okay. So we're looking at that symbol right there, right? That symbol, it says Jane's 2025 vision spirit. So Jane put a little yoga pose in there. I put, and I'll show you mine afterwards, I always put a circle, a heart, an eye, the eye of God looking at me with love, blah, 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 blah. You'll put your own in, right? So it's important that when you put that in there, that you have a relationship to that circle because you're in relationship with spirit. And it represents a circle and a symbol in the center. And this is where I realized once you put that border on it, like see her border there, that there's a limit. Now, yes, we learned that there's a container, we want there to be a container, but what I've learned is that we don't recognize the things we can't see because we can't see them. But that doesn't mean that stuff isn't going on in the invisible world. In fact, science has proven we can only possibly notice, actually, it's actually less now, but I'm going to go with what I was taught before, 4% of reality. So where the heck is the 96% of the action actually happening? So I want to acknowledge that we cannot see what we can't see and all the work the universe is going to put in on my behalf and its behalf to make this a reality. But where's that going to go? Well, it has to go outside the border because it happens outside the border. So I'm going to show you what I did. So here is my symbol. So this would be my spiritual symbol on this page. Now, it's going to be smaller on this next page because this is small. And then this is the border now. See now, instead of the border being along there, we're leaving this much space all around it to add something else, okay? Now this represents the perception of limitation that we agree upon when we create the board. So in a bit, I'm going to explain what we're going to place outside the border. So we create that inches, right? Do you guys see this? And so I want you to draw this on your paper so that when you go to create your board, you're going to get the hang of this, right?
And you put it over top?
No, because I'm gonna do it once we get into the actual drawing exercise, but thank you. I was trying to figure it out. My husband is an amazing genius, tech genius and whatever, and I flip out if I have more than 3 things in front of me at the same time. So, but anyway, okay, see this? We have to add the synchronicity zone. This is called the zone of synchronicity. Okay? And we're going to put stuff in there, but not yet, because I want you to understand it first, right? So this is the part the world action is. Why wouldn't we put it on there? We're going to have all this action that's going on there. Instead, right before we said, no, this, well, what about that? And if we don't see that part, we don't focus on that part, do we? We don't meditate on that part. We just kind of throw it in. Oh yeah, this is something better now manifest for me in divine appropriate timing. Thanks. Right, that this is what I want to manifest. No, I want to look at that. I want to say, okay, I am really, really, really in a relationship with that invisible piece. That piece, right? The zone of synchronicity is where all the action is. So let's go back to the next piece. So a great vision board has a clear theme and a focus. Now, if you try to fit in literally every single thing you've ever wanted, chances are you're going to get super overwhelmed and you actually won't be clear on what you really want. So we're going to narrow down the area you most want to focus on. And by the way, today we're only going to focus on one area when we get to the actual creative exercise. But typically, vision boards focus on one or a few of these common categories. And by the way, I will show you my template for the vision board that I created that's complete also. You'll see what it looks like with everything filled in. So we usually have family and pets, love, friends, passion and creativity, health and well-being, career and calling, I guess money, prosperity, home environment, deliberate giving. So you're going to decide what the focus is. And I find what's really been helpful every year, and when I've done these extra vision boards this year that were very specific focused, I choose 1 to 3 words that I want to manifest through that, right? And throughout the year, you pick a theme for the year. This year, mine is a liberation from my old thinking, so it's liberation. Yours could be something else. So step 3 would be to clarify your intentions. Okay? You keep losing the screen? It turned blue and then went back to black. Okay, so yes, we have definitely got a slide up there, guys. Do you see it? You see a black on top of my hair? Okay, that's funny. You don't see a slide? Okay. All right. It must be something with you guys because we definitely have a slide up and many of you can see. You see a slide. Okay, good. All right. Maybe it takes a minute to load for you guys, but I should be a little square beside the slide. But anyway, before you put a single thing that you want on the board. So just, you know what, if you're having trouble seeing the slide or whatever, listen to what I'm sharing with you. As long as you can hear me, that's important. As long as you can hear me. Don't get all caught up in, oh my God, I can't see the slide. Because the slide is just basically saying what I'm saying. So back to what I was saying. Before you put a single thing you want on the board, you got to get crystal clear in your intentions and what's your why. What's the real truth for why you want the thing you say you want? You have to get so radically honest with yourself here. I do a lot of preparation work before I ever do a board, before I touch the drawing. Me, I want more confidence, and I want to act more obviously in radical trust. That's what I want this year. I want to be immersed in radical trust. I got a taste of it this year. I want to be in alignment with what is truly the highest good in radical trust, being my most authentic self. And by the way, authenticity isn't who you are now. It's who you could be, right? It's all of your possibility of becoming a person that you were meant to be. That's the authenticity piece, right? So whatever that is for you. Maybe yours is, I want to raise at work. So you're going to say why. Then you're going to go to the next thing because I want to make more money. Then you ask why again, because I need more money. Well, why? Why is having more money important? It would give me more freedom and reduce my stress. And then you might say, I would feel empowered. And then you say, well, why do you want to feel empowered and reduce stress? Because I want to feel secure and confident in my life. I want to have peace of mind. I want to feel valued at work. I want to have room to enjoy life without worrying. So are you starting to see the real reason behind your desire for a raise isn't the raise itself? That's the tip of the iceberg. Right? You think getting that is going to give you the feeling of an experience of security, confidence, peace of mind, and the feeling of being valued. Does that make sense to everybody here? Right? So what we want is rarely about the thing itself. I mean, but it can be. Sometimes you just want a new purse, right? You just want a new purse. That's okay too. Like, I want a new purse. Boom, I'm going to put it out. And by the way, people know that I love shopping, but I actually don't. I like the game of me putting it out to the universe, then setting it free and seeing if it shows up. That's what I like, right? So I like the game of shopping, not the shopping itself, right? But anyway, going through the exercise of asking yourself why do I want this? What's behind this is so helpful in getting clear and releasing your tight grip on the form and the how. Unless you want to play with just the thing you want, which you're willing to let go of. Do you know what I'm saying? But honestly, and that's what I mean, the less attachment you have to anything, the more likely you're going to see it quicker in your life. I want to hear what you have to say about that, right? The less attachment you have to anything, the more likely you will see it quicker in your life, because you don't have a big emotional stake in it one way or the other, right? You have to be like, woo, I don't care. Whoopee. I mean, it's so ironic, right? It's like the thing that we really want, the thing that we feel that we're here to do, the service we're here to give, the why am I here? And I feel so, this is so me. And then you have to let it go. Like, what the heck? And then boom, it shows up. It's because you had to let it go. It's so weird. Why are we built like that? But we are. So this is why I teach it, because this really is true. There's never not true. We never get anything that we hold on to too tight. If you have ever received something that you've held on so tight with, you're likely not going to get what you thought you wanted out of that, right? It's so true. It's hard. But yeah, not attached to outcome. So allow space for its importance at the same time of being neutral. Isn't that kind of a weird dichotomy, right? So we have the neutral, looser way of being, but at the same time, allowing yourself to hold space for its importance because it's sacred to you, right? Having something be sacred and important doesn't mean you grab it. So whatever is important to you, that's what your brain's going to look for in the outer world. This is a dance, like I'm telling you, and it works. This dance works. The more it becomes salient to you without attachment, salient meaning important. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of importance, but whether it shows up or not, but it's important to me. You're claiming it for you. And then the reticular activating system of your brain is going to go and look like a bloodhound, go running out into the world and go get it for you, because that's what it's trained to do. Your attention is directed by that sorting system in the brain. And that's how it works. We cannot not talk about neuroscience when we're talking about vision boards. But let's talk about the experience of it, because otherwise we'll be stuck in our heads, right? So you do so by believing and embodying the vision. And when you claim your vision, embodying the thing you want to create before it's here in physical form, you act as if. Now we've got a slide up, just so y'all know, there should be a slide there. If you don't see a slide, just listen to my voice. One of my favorite books, I just actually celebrated 39 years clean and sober a few days ago. And this was the first book I got handed to me by my little old lady, Aunt Clara from Bewitched, who was my AA sponsor, my first one. She gave me this book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. It was written in 1902 about how thoughts and reality are created. And it's still valid today. Wayne Dyer referenced that in his book, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. So when we look at claiming our vision, we want to be positive about and act as if we are the person who has the experience we say we want to have, right? We want to actually say, oh, I can have that. Why not me? That's another thing. That's got to be your mantra. Why not me? Right? Why not me? Like, why not me? Why can't I completely reinvent myself? Why can't you? Why can't you have all those things? Doesn't matter. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot have, or what you can and cannot believe. You have self-agency. And you have the capacity to override any kind of human rule, regulation, or whatever, just by tapping into this. It's not even a mindset. A mindset is something else because you still have to incorporate the facts that, some people have trauma. You have stories that you built your personality based on all these stories and cultural stories and societal stories and blah, 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 blah. But we have an override built right into us, and it's God's override. So you're naturally, when you embody the thing you want to create and you practice it, you rehearse it like you're an actor, right? Like, who would I be if I had that thing? you're naturally going to look for evidence that this thing is true, because that's what that part I brought up earlier, it's what the part of your brain is for. It's to look for that in the outer world. And then it's like a runway, you know how the runway lights light up, like there's the path forward for you to become the person who already has that thing. That's what happens. It happens all the time, but it is a discipline. It is a discipline, and it's one day at a time. You just don't do it one and done and hope that's the way it's going to go down. And none of us are going to get it perfect. I certainly don't, but I do it more in the right alignment than I do in the non-right, no, whatever, just in the misalignment. I am more aligned than I ever am misaligned. And that's what I want for you, to understand what that feels like, because it feels good. Okay, it feels good. So I'm going to really go into all of this detail at my event in 12 days. But today, one of my favorite ways to do this is by incorporating affirmations into my vision board. So I've talked about that before. So if we use our example about the rays, let's just use that as an example. Like we could take that intention and we turn it into an affirmation. I am enjoying a sense of financial security, peace of mind, and feeling valued for my work and my contributions. I am stepping into a place where I trust that I can handle everything that comes my way with confidence and ease. Right? So we create an affirmation around that. And so when we say I am, the more times we say I am, the more times we train ourselves to believe that I am. The I am statements are incredible. So here, our affirmation helps us align with the feeling or experience we really desire, not just the form or the goal. So we leave room for the universe to amaze and surprise us with the how. And remember this part? There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, now step number 5, you should be seeing a slide. It's all about curating and co-creating your vision. So once you've done the work of setting intentions, then you can start making your board. I never touch my board before I've done all this pre-work, because I have done it in the past where I didn't do that. And I was not happy with that, but it was pretty funny because yeah, I didn't think about the things that we're talking about today. And now that I look back on it, I get a real kick out of what I actually created. And I thought, ooh, that I should have thought about that a little bit more clearly. So you can do this with pictures, icons, symbols. And we're going to do my unique approach to that I've already done a couple times, as I said. Now, I'm going to disappoint some of you right here that like to use Canva or vision board apps, because you can't. You cannot make a board like this without the actual relationship between your hand and touching paper. All right, there's so much study on this that nothing wrong with creating art on Canva or vision boards or on your iPad, but this is not what we're doing. We are going to do it with paper or with Bristol board or something. I've done all the scientific research on it. What's the difference between this and that? And you literally got to do this by hand. So doing it by hand does something to the brain, and it activates a part of our brain. I'm not going to tell you the names of it because it's so sciencey and whatever, but it does activate the part that we want. The crucial piece is a reticular activating system of your brain, the crucial piece of the manifestation process, because that's the part of your brain that recognizes its job is to light up the runway, is to be like the bloodhound. I read this great book. I think it's called Into the Magic Shop. By Dr. James Doty, and he talks about that, or no, it's not big magic. It's a scientist's view, and he doesn't believe in the universe or anything to do with it. But I'm like, who cares? Some of the sciencey piece was really, really good, and I was like, this is so real. Oh my God! So you want to do this with your hand. You want to do this, right, Dr. Doty? So this year we're going to do it that way. So number 6. Now we're going to go back to step 6. Manifest your vision for the highest good. What the heck does that even mean? What is the highest good? Like, do we even know what the highest good is? Because we think the highest good is one thing, somebody else's highest good is something else. But if we were to look at the highest good, very simply, is about doing no harm, right? That the highest good does not harm someone else. Then we think about bringing harmony and coherence to the greater whole. And it operates best in peace, right? So when we are connected to the highest good, and connected to our boards and connected to manifesting it, we bring in a state of childlike curiosity. It's from these spaces, that inner peace, that childlike curiosity, that total trust. It's from this space, this internal space where you can expand good into the world and know you're doing it, right? So that's what I mean when I talk about the highest good. So remember, anytime that we set intentions and think about our vision for the future, we have to remember we're connected to the whole. There's no such thing as me, I in a bubble. Not true, right? And what we're going to learn way more about that now. I mean, we are actually in the Aquarian age. We actually got in it finally. Pluto's in Aquarius. It's all about the we. Not the me is important, right? Because the me but the me serves the we. The me just doesn't serve the me, right? It's always about being connected to the whole. Everything we do, everything we say, everything we think impacts the world around us. So we have to make our words matter. We have to make our thoughts matter. And we must honor them and make them sacred. So this is where we find words to put on our boards that represent our feelings, our affirmations. We add them to our vision boards and we meditate on those with gratitude. Now I have way more words on a list, for example. Like I'll actually write down in my journal the background for the board because it's important that I look there, and I'm not going to crowd my board up with all these words and affirmations, but I will have them available. I have little booklets. So I started a new one this year. So I will put in the word, maybe one word on the board, but I'll keep the actual affirmations, unless you're making a big giant board, in which case you will have room for that, right? So it's going to be up to you. I'm not going to tell you the exact way you're going to do it because you're going to do it what works for you and what you love. And then, of course, we activate the board, right? You want to activate that board. And this is where you allow yourself to feel the reality of your vision is already being true, right? That's what you do, the last thing. Like you really get that this is true. Now, we have done this in our challenges in the past through meditating on becoming the person we need to become and activating our partnership with spirit and our relationship and co-creating our intentions for the highest good. So all of these 7 steps that I've taught you already over the years, for those of you who are coming back again, they are still true, right? These are still true. But as I said, there's a way to make this a lot easier. So remember that we always put spirit in the center of the board with the statement, this or something better now manifest for me in divine appropriate timing. Do you know that I have put that statement on every single board that I have done for 39 years? Because I did my very first board the first year I got sober. Now that said, we don't take that statement and spend enough time understanding what that actually means when we say it. What is the sacred meaning to this? Because sometimes it seems like we just put the statement on there as a just in case statement. Well, just in case, you have a better idea, just in case, I'm going to say this. It is a kind of a mixed message, right? I'm not taking anything less than this, only something better. Right? So just to be on the safe side, if you don't give me what I'm asking for, give me something better. So instead, we need to put something else on the board to catch our attention and train the reticular activating system of your brain, because you have to notice what's important. You have to notice it. Where would we put this on a board that's already full? There is no room. So like I said, we need to add space around the border. The space for synchronicities, the space I call the zone of synchronicity. And we are drawing it and not sticking pictures there, okay? Because we're going to use our hands with a pen and train the brain that what we're creating, we believe it because we have drawn it. We're saying, okay, spirit, you work through me and this thing I'm drawing is real. And there's a specific way that I'm going to show you how to do, which actually does relate to that. So the zone of synchronicity is a flow state. It's the current that brings everything to you. It's the express lane, right? It's the flow state where you don't know what's going on, but you go for it because you started it here. So this is really a starting point. And guess what? The border now becomes a portal. Look at the difference. What do you see now? Do you see a border or do you see a portal you could step through? The portal. Depends on how you decide to look at it. Inside the border is still good. You got to put those things in there. But it's difficult to get your head out of the limitations that the world is presenting to you, right? Like I can't really have that because my parents won't let me, or society says I can't, or there are these roadblocks, right? So we're like, oh shit, that thing I say I want. Well, I can't really have that, right? Because that does happen to so many people. It's like, oh, get all excited in January and February, like, oh, what did I do, right? It's difficult to get your head out of that when the outer world is reminding you of things that are not true. But we believe that they're true because we've been trained to believe that they're true. And by the way, we are in an undeniably rapid transformation time in our lives, and we are going to be thrown into unknown circumstances over and over again. And we will keep bumping up against our limitations if we don't learn how to step beyond that border, beyond our limits, into the realm of possibility, into the zone of synchronicity, where we can trust that the universe is conspiring in our favor. So the example of what the zone of synchronicity is for, I'm going to show you how it works. So I did one of these boards in June, and I kind of tootled around with it and this art technique that I was developing that's going to be in my book in September. And I decided to try it. I put what I was saying I wanted in there. I believed it was possible and said, I'm going to focus on this gorgeous section that represents what Spirit has in mind for me and all of the ways that Spirit has in the game of life that I'm going to play. And I'm going to be more aware of that than what's inside. Okay. So I did it on a couple of small things and it worked, like really small things. I'm like, holy shit, did that ever work fast? So Mark and I, so what now keep an open mind, just use this story, might be far-fetched for some people, but it's my story. It's the only story I have. So, and it really did work. So we went to look at real estate in a different country. We were actually thinking of moving to Portugal. We're not, by the way, but we were thinking of it. We found a little house, and there was no reason why we shouldn't have been able to get this property. It lined up perfectly. I did the drawing in advance. I did everything in advance. I was like, I drew the whole thing, and I'll show you the drawing in a minute, and did all this work around it and focused on the zone of synchronicity, and bam, realtor called, affordable place, not expensive. We're like, wow, this is like boom, boom, boom. Let's get on a plane. Holy moly, this is so great. Yay. Right? That's what you think. And I'm thinking that board worked. With me here? Okay. Then every roadblock that you could think of showed up for us. Like, I'm not kidding you. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Like, are you guys looking for something? Been there. Okay, right? You've been there, right? So all of a sudden, every roadblock. But I had sat back. Because I brought my board, because I'm making my board on smaller things too, like small boards on these papers, they're called A5. So, and I brought it with me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to look at that board. Why is this not working? It all brought us here. We even got the flights on points. It didn't cost us anything to get here. Like, what the hell? My friend moved to Portugal. This is like, I could do things with Hay House in Portugal. What is going on here? So all of a sudden, like, I'm not even going to list out all the problems that we had. Like, I can't even tell you with governments and whatever. And it was like, okay, this is like really weird. Why was it okay before we left? And as we got here, it's all not. So I said to Mark, I said, we have to let all this go. And he was like, what are you talking about? Right. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Cause like I made him come. Like, I'm surrendering to Spirit and I'm going to be curious. He's like, oh boy, here we go. Like, have a croissant. Like, food is really good here in Portugal. Let's just eat. But anyhow, so I'm like, I am fixated now on the outside, on this. I have stepped through a portal. I got to Portugal. Man, we let it go. As soon as we let it go, another opportunity came. Something we would never have said yes to. Something we weren't planning at all. Way better for us in the long run. Very affordable. House for rent for a few months only. We're like, yeah, we're not leaving Canada in this. And, no, okay. And we're like, it just literally dropped in our lap so easily. It was so weird. We didn't have one iota, like, it was just like, okay, we'll take that. And I cannot tell you how easy it was for me to let go of the thing that I was obsessively talking to the realtor every day, talking to lawyers, talking to like immigration lawyers, all this, having everything set up, boom, 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 like my friend did when she moved there. Done it every single day for like a month and a half, 2 months almost. And then as soon as I got there, it was gone. I just let it go within 24 hours and zabadoo. And you want to know what? I would have never, ever thought of thinking, well, what does spirit have in mind? Well, what is out there? What's this part? Because I didn't fight. I just went, okay, fine. Well, what is it? And I was perfectly happy to let go all of it. Like, okay, I'm not chasing anything here. Spirit, you show me. And it was so fast, we didn't even know what hit us. Like, bam, right? So we released the form, exactly. We released the form, and it was so uncanny how quickly I saw the path that was going to take me to what was better for me. And also a path that was taking me directly to the bullseye of what I said I wanted, because it actually worked out even better. We're working on our house here. Our house is a fixer-upper. We still have stuff to fix and whatever. And it just worked out exactly the way Spirit wants. And I'm like, okay with that. But I would have never been like that. Never in a million years would I have been able to handle it like that had I not spent so much time with the zone of synchronicity. Is you guys getting this? Right? Yeah, I know. I'm not leaving you hanging yet, but I just wanted to make sure you understand it every step of the way, right? So I recognize that putting all this stuff on the board was nowhere near as important as creating the zone of synchronicity and making it beautiful, meditating on it and rehearsing it on a daily basis. And once I did that, it was like, wow. Where we put our attention, the energy is going to flow there. That's where we're putting a trust, not in the outer world. Our trust is not in the outer world. Our trust is with Spirit. This is the relationship that we already know, that we have a relative limitation on that. We've already said so. It's okay. But when our faith is so sure, our navigational skills and our resilience goes up exponentially. And then our internal sense of peace and trust is unshakable. And I've never done it like that ever. And I've done it a couple more times with some other things. And it's amazing. So today, you just look at it. You just, do that and let go at the same time. Well, I'll share it with you in a second. So we are going to make the zone of synchronicity beautiful. You know, at this stage, yeah, I am going to put another camera on. So I am going to switch. Mark, will you turn the camera on that computer? I'm going to show you guys. You won't need to see my face anymore. We're going to do it this way. And I'm going to need that still. Oh, thank you. Perfect. So you guys can see this. Is this a little, can we bring that down and show them a little bit closer? Yeah. More closer. Hang on one sec. Yeah. So do I go like that? Okay. Yeah. So I'll go a little closer. So it's a little angular. Do you guys see this? You can see it now? Okay. Is it upside down for you?
No, it's not upside down.
No, mine is not upside down. If that's my finger, then I'm attached to it. It's fine, right? Okay. It actually doesn't matter if it's upside down, by the way. It's fine if it is, because we're dealing with this, right? We don't really care. Upside down, right side up. If my fingers are going this way, I don't care. We're going to bring it even more. Okay, good. Is this like this? How are we doing this?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. I just want to make sure they keep seeing that zone. Alrighty. So anybody can do this. You don't have to have an artistic bone in your body. But I need to explain about how this works and why, because you need to know what it means. It's one thing to do it. It's another thing to understand why you're doing it. Okay. So drawing by hand has been proven scientifically to initiate brain plasticity. It's called the neuro arts. I've written a book about it. It's coming out in the fall. If you do music, sound, drawing, the more you draw, the more neural networks you actually create in your brain by the actual action of the drawing. And we are doing intentional drawing because we are doing visual representations that you have a part in creating this, and that you have a direct relationship to how your own brain responds to move beyond your perceived limitations into new potential. And I did not make this up. This is all the research I did because of the book I'm writing is about the creation of art and how it impacts brain plasticity as an essential role in manifesting, right? And yes, thank you. I put thank you everywhere. I'll show you, but I'm going to show you a different kind of thank you. So any kind of vision board you create, old school, no school, doesn't matter school, is about creating a visual representation of what you're claiming to experience in your life. And you're doing it in advance, just like our ancient ancestors did when they made cave drawings. They were not drawing a story of being successful in a hunt after. They drew images of a successful hunt before they went out in the world. You get this? Right, very important. We do it before, right? So this is how and why I'm teaching this to you. Making a vision board by hand is always a creative exercise anyway. It's always going to be intentional art, and this is an example of intentional art. So now let's make our boards. Now, make sure you have paper for your board. And again, sheet of computer paper, doesn't really matter, extra paper, journal, because you're going to do another one from this. This is going to be your map, okay? Because you're going to then make a board based on what you learned today on the smaller one, right? So like this is what I have here. So that way you don't get nervous that it's going to not be perfect. It doesn't matter. You're just learning how it's done today, and then you're going to go do it. Now, I want to lead us through a short meditation exercise to get grounded because I know everybody's all excited. So today we are only going to focus on one feeling, one experience in one category, okay? So when you're in your own time, you're going to make out the full board, and I'll show you a picture of my full board so you'll really get a total understanding of what it should look like at the end. So today, one thing only. So you're going to say, today I'm going to focus on love and relationships, or I'm going to focus on career, or I'm going to focus on my family, whatever it is, you're going to pick one section, and that's all we're going to work on. Okay. It's going to be rectangular, Monica, for today, but you will put lots of round things on there, so just don't jump ahead. Some are testimonials of admiration as well, Suzanne. There are many, many, many cave paintings, but these are very specific, right? So very, very specific. You can add things to it later 100%, but depends on how you want to do it. I mean, I just tell you today, just do a template because this is a map of a board is what you're learning today. And you'll flesh it out in your own time and add other things, but this is just to show you how it's done. So right now, I'd like you to take a deep breath and relax and close your eyes. And we can maybe, put your circle in the middle. Remember? Circle in the middle. Yeah, so circle in the middle, because that's a spiritual circle, right? So that's mine is sort of in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then you're going to have a little spiritual symbol, but for now, you just have to do this. If we could stop the chat just for this tiny little, you can copy my circle, tiny little section. I want you all to pay attention and not to write in the chat. So I'm inviting you to close your eyes. You're standing in a beautiful garden with your guardian angel. Oh, it's so pretty here. In front of you, there's a big, beautiful ball of sparkling light. It just sort of hovers in the air, forming, sparkling, shimmering, moving, a beautiful big ball of living light. And in that light are all of the feelings that will help ground your intention. Joy, the happiness, the confidence, fulfillment, passion, creativity, the things you're affirming that you may or may not be connected to right now, but these things exist because you're affirming them, you're claiming them energetically. Liberation, clarity, whatever those states of being are, they are in that ball of light. Now, if you look at the ball of light, you're going to notice two spots underneath it. Like it's a big ball of light. One for one foot, one for the other foot on the bottom of it. So it's like places to put your feet, because we're going to step into this beautiful ball of light. And you're going to feel and experience those amazing feelings. Just allow yourself to experience how it feels to become this person where this is true, where you are loved, where you're clear, where you're free, where you're proud, where you're confident, where you're creative, where you're inspired, where all of this is absolutely true. Just feel it. All of this is absolutely true. Allow yourself to feel grateful and say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And fill yourself with gratitude as this ball of light shimmers and sparkles all around you, bringing you energy and clarity. Now repeat after me. You can whisper it, especially if you're at work. The universe is the source of my supply. I embody this truth with joy and gratitude. Spirit is the source of my supply, and I embody this with joy and gratitude. God is the source of my supply, and I embody this with joy and gratitude. And so it is. Allowing yourself to bring yourself back, knowing that your guardian angel has witnessed you in this divine rehearsal. Okay, now in this calm state, let's take our paper. Now I'm going to start a new one, and we're going to do it together. And we're going to put a dot in the center to represent spirit. Okay, so we're going to start a brand new one, or you can use the one that you started. Where is my brush pen? Here it is. So I am going to put a dot. My best pens are called Unipen. Here we go. So there's a watermark, I understand. Zoom out a little of the image. Lift the camera. Zoom out, please. Okay, my husband will do it.
What are you doing?
I have to do the dot.
No, you don't want to zoom out.
No, okay. So we're going to do a dot. We're all going to do a dot together. You got the dot? Can you see what I'm doing now? Okay, great. Excellent. So this dot is approximately in the middle of your paper. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to initiate this experience together by staring at the dot. Now you should be seeing some type of light somewhere, but we're awakening the vision. So I want you to stare at your dot until you see some kind of light. And it should be pretty wild. And you just say to yourself, let there be light. I can even see it on the screen when I see that. Colette's name is blocking the board in the center of Zoom. I can't see where that is. I don't know. No. See, you'll see an aura. It's perfect. Okay, for some people, maybe, I don't know, that's so funny. Some people are saying that it's there. Okay, all right, fine. I'm just not going to worry about it. This is the dot. Okay, so to awaken our vision, we see light. Now you can't unsee that. Isn't that amazing? Right? Isn't that amazing? Okay, so when you stare at the dot, you looked at something that doesn't exist yet. You're acknowledging and claiming that it does exist and you can have it, right? Before that, you didn't see any of that on there, did you? No, there was no light, but we called in light. And we're saying this is all what normally my limitation is here, but this is all spirit. But now we are going to put a circle around that dot and make this about spirit. So I'm going to now put a circle around this dot. There we go. Here's my little circle. Now here's where you put a symbol of spirit, right? Now I'm going to put an I for me. That's spirit. I'm just going to do this with you. I'm going to draw an I here. There's my I, and I'm going to make, this is now going to be a very rudimentary little symbol of spirit, because now I'm going to turn it an I inside a sun. There. There's my little I. There we go. I'm going to make it a little bit fancier. And I'm going to put a heart too, because I always like to put a heart when it comes to spirit, because spirit loves me. Okay, so that's what I drew. You can draw whatever you want. You might put a cross, a heart, whatever spiritual symbol. Neptune, exactly. Okay, so now we've created the spiritual symbol, whatever you're going to do. Now you're going to put the border, right? So remember I showed you that border? So now the border is going to go here. Now we definitely do a vertical, well, actually, if I turn it on its side, it would be a vertical door. But we are going to do this because of we want to make it similar to what the paper is. My paper happens to be rectangular. It's not perfect, but who cares? It's not supposed to be perfect. So I'm going to thicken this up a little bit, because again, it's still the same. I'm asking the universe, spirit, to identify and recognize and honor that I have placed something inside its borders. Right? There we go. So I'm just going to do this a little to make mine a little bit stronger looking. Okay, there. So that's kind of mine. Now, so you're going to find your focus, right? So mine would be home. Now, we decided not to do what we thought we were going to do in our case, right? So we are adding an addition to our house. That's us. So we want to make our house better. It's like I said, it's a fixer-upper. Like, no, I'm not kidding you when I tell you it's a fixer-upper. We live in a farm and lots to fix. So you might want to put love and romance, career, finance. Right now, remember, we're only going to focus on one thing. So we are going to draw another circle wherever you want. And we want to allow a little piece of that circle to be drawn outside of the border. Now I'm going to put a big circle here because we're only going to do one today, right? So right here, I'm going to draw a circle, and that circle is for home, okay? I'm going to also do an imperfect circle. So I'm going to go around like this, maybe go like this a little bit too. So I'm going to have some layers in the circle. For those of you who are in Spirit of Your Business class, you know exactly why I'm doing this. Okay, so this is going to represent home. Yeah. So there is no dashed line, Chris. If you want to do a dash, go ahead. Right? So that's not how I'm teaching this, and that's not what this is. So there's a reason for this. This is, remember, we're looking at our perceived limitations, right? Now this, you see this has gone here. So you want to clarify your intentions. You're going to write them down on a separate sheet of paper. Here's what I want, why I want it. Make sure you get to the true essence. How do you want to feel? And remember, we did step 4 with you claim your vision by affirming it's real now. So you're going to write an affirmation statement or a few of them on a different sheet of paper for now. And actually, let's go back and do that. So let's get a separate piece of paper. And remember, we're only looking at one thing, just to make sure you get to the true essence of your intentions. How do you want to feel? Egg is fine, Alexander, doesn't matter. Just how do you want to feel? Remember, now we're going to do some writing on the side. We've done these things here. Grateful, great. You want to be grateful. Just write that down. And you will get a replay, by the way, emailed to you, which you'll have for, I think, 48 hours. And drawing a circle is not hard. And you remember, look at mine, it's not perfect at all. I just went like this around. If you need help to draw a circle, like I've got a, right, I could have put that there. Like if you need help, go ahead, it doesn't matter. Like find like a jar top if you know, oh my God, I can never draw a circle. Just use a top of a can. We're getting there. Just follow along, Claudia. I know everybody wants to know, what does it mean in advance? You're going to get there. We did this. Now we go to the side. This is home. This is my section. This is your section. This is your portal where you're stepping through zone of synchronicity, spiritual symbol. Okay, we've got this. Now, in the affirmation statement on the side, right? Maybe yours is going to be, I am feeling confident and proud of myself in my job. Whatever it is, just write any kind of affirmation that relates to how you want to feel, right? Doesn't matter where you put your circle. You know what I'm going to show you? I'm going to show you something so that you'll see a finished version of this so that you get it. I'm going to show you right now a finished version of my vision board. And I'm going to show it to you so you get the end game, the end result. Okay, do you see this, guys? This is what, now you see, okay. Get it? Okay, so now you get this, right? Now, why do I do circles? Why didn't we do a circle, right? This is how, okay. So I need you to see the end result. Now we're going to go back. You build it, and then you get to this, okay? So now we go back to this because you're learning this. Remember, I'm teaching this to you step by step. You'll eventually end up with something that look like mine, right? No, I'm not expecting you to do this today. It isn't neurographica, by the way. This is a different, neurographica's specific lines, etc., means something very different. The only thing that is similar is the fact that I use wavy lines, but circles and wavy lines are similar in Zentangle, neurographica, in all kinds of different intentional creativity, etc. So the affirmation doesn't go here. And this is, by the way, the template. So if for those of you who are going to be cutting out pictures, etc., you still can do that, but this will be on the bottom of where you put something. So say, for example, I can't draw, I'm not going to draw. So you'll put up, you might glue something here, right? But again, yeah, you want to draw this by hand for sure. So very, very simple. So now that you've done a little bit of a, right? So again, you're going to curate and co-create. I'm going to draw all of this for you. This is really what I'm showing you today is a map of your vision board. Later on, if you want to cut out pictures and do that way you can. You can choose how to do it because I'm giving you the map to do it. But today I'm teaching it as an exercise. So we are going to create a symbol or symbols that represent the feeling state. So maybe I'm drawing a V for victory or a $ for more money, right? We would do that in step 5, right? And so you have this concept of you would again put that on the side. Remember, you're adding all these things. You're not drawing those things yet, right? You're having them on a piece of paper beside it. And then in step 6, we want to put a word or statement that represents the essence of your affirmation. So for this exercise, write the most important words in the bubble around the edges or where you feel drawn to put it. So I'm just going to use it this way. I'm going to put it in here because I'm going to draw it from scratch with you. Actually, I'm going to use the number 6. Okay, so let's actually say this is abundance. So I'm going to write abundance. See here? I'm going to write that here. I might write joy. I might write witness, miracle. Miracle. See what I mean? You're going to add little tiny words. You're going to add words. Again, you can put $, absolutely patoy. right? So yeah, so remember, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to show you again really quickly. See how that looks, right? So I've done all these different things. There's a dollar sign here. This is just ways in which it could work. It could look, that's not, this is you now. You're in the baby steps, okay? We're still here, right? And this is what mine looked like in the beginning too. Yeah, so a black marker is what I like to use, but you can use any color and you can color yours in. I just wanted to show it to you in black and white because this is a picture going into my new book in September and I needed to keep it black and white. I have another one that's all in color. So maybe again, so what would a symbol be? So let's say if it is, let's say your abundance is about love, right? You want to see an abundance of love. So you just want simple. I want to put a heart in there. And you want money too. Okay, great. So I'm going to do this. I am going to put this in here and I'm going to make it go like that because that's what a money symbol looks like here. Or if you're in Europe, you'll put a euro or whatever, right? So, and I might want to then put more hearts here because I want to love it and it's going to help and benefit other people. Right? That's what you want to do. So you want to fill it up with things like this, right? Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way so you can have this to look at another time is that you actually can stop the video and then go back over it again, right? So basically you have symbols of abundance. Now, I want to show you how to put gratitude in play because this is where it gets interesting. Right? So we're going to show gratitude in play. So from this, right now, we still see things that are separate from one another, right? So we want a relationship between this piece, the zone of synchronicity, and that. So we are going to draw wavy lines. Now, for those of you who know about neurographic art, which a few of you have said something about it, this line means something very different there because it's a line that goes against resistance. These lines are called frequency lines. This is about the frequency of receiving and broadcasting between us and the universe, spirit and matter, the zone of synchronicity and what it is inside this border. So you want to put these wavy lines like this, but equal distance apart so it doesn't look weird. You're going to do this a little bit here. Now remember, now you can see, imagine that this triangle, this thing here is like a portal now, like we've stepped through something. And what's on the other side? Whoa, spirit with all of this. See, because it goes there. So yes, all this is available to us, but it also is available to us on the other side of this limitation, right? That's why we create the circle just outside of that. Does that make sense to you guys? So you can just, if you have pop-ups like a chat, you can disable that on your computer. By the way, too, if you don't want to see the chat, it can be disabled. I don't know why there's no pop-ups. There shouldn't be. You can mute the chat preview. Yeah. So again, when you get this in your inbox, you can watch it and stop it so that it's not overwhelming. But I wanted to show you this because it really does work. So if you were going to do a vision board where you are putting pictures that you want to like glue on, you do it after you've done this because this is like the underpainting, if you will, or the spirit of the actual board. So you just draw things. They don't have to be nice looking even. They're just like things that mean something to you. Now, these lines are connector lines. Remember this, like how spirit connects to us, and we are also spirit. So this is the center of our being is spirit. So you're saying I'm connected to spirit, and all of the activity that's going on is not just on me. My job is to rehearse this, but spirit's job and the zone of synchronicity is how I'm going to get it. So I'm going to have a relationship to the zone, but I have no idea what's going to be there. So therefore, I'm going to put some symbols. The symbol of unity and the symbol of spirit is a circle. So we are going to draw circles on the outside, just a few here and there. This represents all the gifts and all the blessings that Spirit has for us that we don't know what it is yet. But we're going to make all these great balloons, and they don't have to be perfect. Look at me. I'm not even making them perfect at all. These big, giant balloons here. We're going to put them all here. All these little things. Like, look at all these people, places, things, opportunities that we could never have come up with all by ourselves are now gathering on our behalf, because that's actually what it's like. You know, like when you think of, and you ask the person, you know, what were you doing and why did you come? And they say, well, I wasn't going to go. No, I wasn't going to go either. But yes. Yes, it will look like fascia, and it will also look like cells when I show you how you see it. So you see this, we're putting in all of this in the zone of synchronicity, because this is so important. And we leave the circles blank. We can put a heart, we can also put a spiral, because a spiral is a representation of expansion, right? The circles go on the lines, yes, on these connector lines, because as we connect to the universe has ideas, right? All these great ideas. Look at that. Oh, wow. I couldn't have come up with that. I think it's this. And Spirit's going to go, yeah, but we're going to give it to you this way. So we're coming up with all kinds of ideas for you here. Now, Spirit is in charge of the field of potentiality. It has a role to play. The universe is intelligent. It is the intelligence of the universe that needs to be allowed to act on your behalf. And what does that look like? Circles and wavy lines. We don't know what's in these, but we know they are there. And you see, we're drawing it in. It's okay if they come inside. Why not? H for health. Sure, you can put whatever you want in there. But right now, I'm just drawing the template. Mark, just see if Elizabeth is texting, because my Slack keeps beeping and I can't open it here. I have no way to open it. Okay, so let's move on. So gratitude, let's talk about why. So let's just say you claimed something, right? So you've claimed it inside your vision board, right? Just like I did before. Put whatever it is in there, and you can, again, I filled up my whole board before, so this is just for right now, we're doing this one section. So let's trace our original zone and go around it a few more times. It doesn't need to be perfect, which we did. Remember, let's just trace it around a couple times. So like I did, there's 3 things. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put little tiny circles inside that. And when we do it, we say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're just going to fill in some sections that look a little sharp. And we say thank you, because in nature, anything that is sharp or intersected represents a weakness at that place. So we want to get rid of that, and we want to turn it into a thicker, like a branch, right? Like, you know how a branch, you can't break it. It's an unbreakable part now. So we want to just do that a little bit. These circles here are strictly at the moment representing Spirit's unknown gifts to you and all its activities. So, but for now, I'm saying thank you in here. Right? And I'm drawing with these black pens just to show you how it's done. That's going to be up to you what colors you choose to use. Right? So we're saying thank you. When you do this very slowly, like we couldn't do that today, you get euphoric, literally by sitting there drawing these gratitude circles over and over, and you say thank you. And all you do is say thank you. Thank you for these miracles. Thank you. I mean, we're miracles. The miracle of life. Thank you, over and over and over again. So we see that. Now, if you notice it, you'll start to see that it starts to look like a cell, a living cell, or a cross section, a two-dimensional cross section of a microscopic vision of a cell, right? So you see these things. When you've finished it, you will see how that works. You notice that already? You draw these things and you just say, thank you, thank you. Now, I like to spend a nice, good half hour with a cup of tea saying thank you in these little sections. Yeah, it is. It's a little bit like Zentangle. It's a little bit like neurographic art. It's a little bit of a lot of different things, but it's very specific because we are manifesting with it. It is like cognitive therapy. Thank you, Teresa. You're correct. So, but it is in relationship to, none of those things have been applied to the art of manifesting, right? To actually manifesting something. So if you see this, now obviously, what else is in there is when you fill up the inside of your board, it's going to be different. But today was the day that we were just looking at this one piece. So then we draw circles along the lines connecting you to the zone of synchronicity. So you and spirit, again, this is spirit. And then I forgot to mention this too. So I like to put my initials in the center, which tells me I am connected to spirit. So I have CBR in there too. Right, so I know it's me and spirit is the center. I've activated it, it's part of me. And I'm gonna now I like to do these lines like this. I'm gonna do a very rudimentary drawing for you today. So I'll put these little tiny things along here going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it starts to look like it comes alive, right? And you can do it here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There you go. So I would like do like that. Isn't that cool? Very calming. Yes, it should be calming. You can have as many boards as you want, Carrie Ann. I have different boards for different things. And then I have the main board, which I gave you a glimpse of for basically the year ahead. So if you see this, then it grows. It takes time, but you'll get the hang of it when you start to see, when you actually start to add. And I'm saying thank you in advance. When I do this outside here, I'm saying thank you in advance for manifesting on my behalf with your ideas that help mine. And that's how I speak it to spirit, right? So now I've got way more stuff going on out there. Now this one I want to connect, so I'm going to do a whole bunch of circles here. See what I mean? See how this is starting to look? Repetition adds movement. Thank you. That's right. That's right. Exactly. Thank you, Phyllis. You will do the same thing. This is so easy to do, you guys. If you can draw a wavy line in a circle and come up with a heart, and a more wavy lines, you can do this. But the zone of synchronicity is really where all the uncanny opportunities arise. So I really spend a lot of time out here. So again, right now you've only done this, but I'm really interested in what's going to happen over here and how it's connecting me to everything. So I'm going to say really a lot of thank yous, these tiny bubbles of gratitude. I'm going to grow these over here, and I don't put them everywhere, but I'm going to put enough of them where I personally am giving my wholehearted support for spirit operating in my favor, right? And I'm going to go, why am I going to go beyond that line? Because becomes then a portal. It doesn't separate anything. Notice how this is out here. I'll go like this, right? So then you just play with it. You don't worry about if it's perfect or not. Remember, you guys are going to see this more like a map or a template, then you can do another one at home. This is not supposed to be overwhelming. This is supposed to be very calming. Oh yeah, definitely do more, 1000%. You will on your own do more big circles for other categories, 1000%, you will. But don't they look like cells now? Like you see these things, even this, right? Do you see that? It looks like a cell. right? These looks like cellular images. And why would that? Because that's why we call it cellular art as well, is because we want something to be alive. It starts to come alive. It is like living tissue, and it looks very organic because we are all cells in the vast system of the universe. When we say we are connected to this, we are it, and it is us. And that's what we need to be reminded of when we look at our vision board. Not just the things we say we want, but the relationship that we have to the conscious universe. So again, I'm going to show you the one I finished for, you'll get the hang of it, right? So I have done this for a number of different things. This is for the year ahead. Remember, I showed you this earlier. This is what a finished one could look like. So this is me and Mark. I put Mark and me. There are my little walking, healthy well-being. I walk. Mark and I go for walks. I put little feet, right? This is home, so I made a little house. It's not fabulous art, music, but then this is inside my board. But look how much activity is on the outside of the board, right? In my other board, I colored all that in, right? But I'm just showing you the drawing right now. So that's what it could look like at the end. But you notice here, this is where all the action is. So I put a lot of color on the outside. Now, if you want to do something like this on a big giant board, then what you're going to do is, and you want to cut out pictures, you put it on top of this. This becomes kind of like a map for you to place your pictures underneath. But I would only put the pictures in the inside of this and leave this area here where you then have all these squirrely gigs and circles and the wavy lines to remind your mind that there is 1000% a deep relationship between you and spirit. So the gratitude is for the relationship between you, your desires, and the claimed outcomes you want through synchronicity. The right people at the right time, the right sense of inspiration, the right ahas when it's supposed to happen. Everything starts to happen in a way you never anticipated. So now you have this way to vision board, and I bet it looks like nothing like anyone you've ever made in the past, but it's important that you understand what it represents. So like I said, if you want to do this on a big giant Bristol board, you can, and then cut out your pictures and put it on, but make sure you draw these things underneath, that you now have an energy map. This is a map of energy. And that when you see what is on the zone of synchronicity, like you can see here what I said. Let me show you this. What do you think it says here? Surprise me. Surprise me, right? That's what I want to see in that zone of synchronicity, because it works. Surprise me is what we want to say. So I'm going to, I know we're going to have questions and answers. We can put my face on the thing again, right?
Yeah, let's do that now.
Yeah, ultimate trust, surprise me. So doesn't it land? I know you've been in like it's totally different. The Ace of Pentacles, right? I love that. Okay, so let me show you the old board again. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I would do with it. We're ready to goof it up there, Marky.
All right.
Okay, so imagine, all right, so I would then see this here? I would take a pen. I would then draw these lines and I would add paper. Then I would add more from here because it's not enough for me just to be separate from spirit. I want to know that outside of this, see what I mean? So I would then add these lines from here, and then there would be a different border up there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I didn't wreck our board. I just changed it, honey. Thank you. Right? So then here are these lines where I'm connecting to spirit. So I would probably do those in gold. So see what I mean? Like you want to have something on the board, right, that connects with it. Right? Oh, sure, you can, I think you can do whatever. But remember, it's the ultimate doodle, exactly. This is the ultimate doodle, for sure. Now, I know it's very different than what I've taught you before, but if you do this as it is on its own, I'm doing mine all like this year. It's strictly drawing. A friend of mine wants to do a collage. So they're going to do it on top of their drawing because it doesn't need to look great. You just need to claim it. energetically by hand, and then you do what you got to do, right? Isn't this a cool way? So anyway, the truth is, most people get stuck when they can't see the spirit's activity with this, right? And life will keep pulling us back to our old patterns, right? I mean, I'm sure it's happened to you, right? You make a vision board with the best intentions to live your best year, and then life happens, right? Self-doubt creeps in, your to-do list feels endless, and it gets back on our shoulders, right? Like it gets totally put back on our shoulders. And then by the end of the year in December, you're wondering where the year went. Then you okay, I'm going to start fresh in January, and then the cycle happens again. So how do you stay connected to your vision when life gets messy? That's a question, right? So this process isn't about waiting for everything to magically fall into place before you start living this vision of your life. It's about aligning with that feeling state every single day, even when things feel hard. You keep looking at that zone of synchronicity, and especially when the world feels chaotic. And that my favorite quote by Joseph Campbell, that famous mythologist, he says, take one step towards the gods. They're going to take 10 steps towards you. And that's still true today. So I guess what will your one step be is my question for you. Can you commit to taking a baby micro step towards that version of yourself? Well, like once you've done your board, you still have to live your life every day, right? Like I remember when we did that, when I tested the boards this year, it's like life happened and lots happened. But it's like I kept looking at that zone of synchronicity going, okay, I get it. There's a lot going on, but I know that, I'm not going to resist any of this. I'm going to really just surrender this. Like I love the new Mel Robbins book. What is it? The let them theory. Just let the world be what it is. I'm going to follow spirit. Let it, it's fine. Right? So anyway, maybe like you guys who got together to do this, you can do this together. Maybe you have an amazing community already, but maybe you need more. So when I made the decision to finally change my life, to finally transform and finally step beyond my limits, and we're getting somewhere now, we're going to talk about my event. And then I started to become the person I wanted to become. I actually had to do it with other people. I didn't do it by myself. So it's okay if like you're getting overwhelmed, you're like, oh God, I need more time to integrate. I need more tools to build on. And I actually need more support to become the version of yourself you see in the intentions that you put into your vision board. So that's why I created something amazing. It's my brand new virtual event. It's going to be annual. It's called Beyond Limits. It's my favorite picture of myself, if you don't mind me saying. And it's so nice. Look how nice that looks. Anyway.
That's how I see you.
Oh, I love you. Manifest a new you in 2025, or like manifest the you you're supposed to be. Many of you have attended my event Oracle Palooza in the past, and some of you may notice that I didn't do it last year. And that's because I'm really seeing you might need something different. And I really wanted to kick off the new year with something different, something that was its own thing, just 2 days of amazing content, just 2 days, straight, all teaching, full on. And I wanted to create something that would actually help you start the year strong, but keep going for the whole year. So this event that I put together, I'm so pumped, I'm so excited about it, is about giving you the tools, the clarity, and the confidence to bring the vision board to life that we started here, and to step beyond any current limitations you have and get into that zone of synchronicity. How do we live in the zone of synchronicity? Into that space of infinite possibility? Because we want to live there. I'm telling you, I know when I was sitting in that this year, I was like, holy shit, I have to figure out a way how to teach this. Like, how do I get here more often? And then I did. And I put this thing together and I asked Hay House, can we do this? And they said, yes. So Beyond Limits, whoa, that's a big noise. Will help you move forward now and build a foundation for a year of true alignment, because your dreams matter and this vision for your life matters, and it can be your reality. It doesn't have to just stay on a board and you forget all about it. So anyhow, it's a 2-day live interactive virtual event, kind of like if you've been to Oracle Palooza like that. It's on January the 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday, where we are going to go way beyond what we started today. I mean, this just scratched the surface, and I packed a lot into 2 hours. I mean, like, whoa. So if you could imagine if we could do this together over a full weekend, and it's not all art, by the way. It's teaching and meditation and card readings, and it's a smorgasbord of a lot of fantastic spiritual technologies that I know and that you love already, I'm sure. And I can show you how to track yourself this year. So I know that creating your vision board is fun, but learning how to step into that new version of yourself, it can be overwhelming when you do it by yourself. So I created the experience to guide you through that step by step. So like if we do talk about day one, we talk about how you stay in the zone of synchronicity, right? How do we break free from the invisible walls that have kept you stuck and kept me stuck? So you learn to align with your true self and begin to see what's possible. Then we move into releasing the obstacles. We don't spend much time, by the way, on the weekend on obstacles because I don't think it's helpful. I think it's more helpful to figure out what it's like on the other side and how to get there. So we really discover how to become the person you want to become. And we all have little obstacles and we have some big ones too, but we're gonna find a way how to leapfrog over them, move beside them, dig underneath them, and just get to the other side without a lot of effort. And this is where the transformation really begins. When we really shed those limiting beliefs, fully own our desires, and no more apologizing for what you want. No more apologizing or feeling unworthy of that. We're done with that, okay? Like we're done. This is about liberating yourself and stepping into possibility because it exists for everybody. And once you've cleared the way, it's time for aligning with the vision. Now, you connect with the inspired, spirit-driven vision for your life, and then you can discover what it means to truly manifest in partnership with the conscious universe, in partnership with God, with spirit, from a place of alignment and authenticity and not in the place of question mark, can I, right? You really get there. But it does take time and meditation and different techniques to get there, which is what we put you through, and it's amazing. And a vision needs support and nourishment to grow too. So that's what the day two is about. We start with a focus on how do we shift into daily abundance, right? So how do we help you cultivate an abundance viewpoint? Replacing fear and scarcity with trust, with confidence, with openness, and with that liberated sense of receiving everything that you need without focusing on what doesn't seem to be working, right? Which is very easy to do, by the way. And then we dive into some awesome magic. And this is where I guide you through another creative visioning exercise, similar to what we did today, but way more amazing. We have 6 incredible, beautiful exercises where we're, meditative exercises, creative exercises. It's pretty amazing. And you'll activate your vision for 2025. We do some of another creative thing and to activate your vision. And it's something that's going to feel tangible and exhilarating and very easy. And finally, we end up with creating your sacred covenant. So it's a moment of commitment, a sacred promise between you and spirit to live the life you've envisioned. And then you leave the weekend empowered, inspired, and ready to move forward with clarity, with purpose. At the end of the event, you won't just be imagining a better life, you will have already tasted it, right? You're gonna have the tools and the energy to start living it, and maybe you'll have some new friends because I have to say, like, man, the most amazing supportive people show up at these events of mine. I mean, I could pinch myself. You are all really amazing. So when you come to Beyond Limits, you get to connect more deeply with other people too, on the same path. Lots of people make friends at these events, and we design them on purpose like that. And then we want each session to move you just one step closer to living your life beyond limits. And throughout each session, I will guide you through these oracle card reflections, guided meditations, like I said, and breakout sessions where you can really share deeply with each other. It doesn't matter also if you've ever done anything like this before. It's event is for anybody who's ready to live a life beyond limits. So now listen, if you're thinking, wow, that sounds like an amazing experience, well, of course you're right. So let's talk about how you can attend. Now, we created 2 ticket options to make this weekend as accessible as possible. General admission tickets are just $97, and that includes everything you need to get the full event experience. You get 12 hours of live event access across 2 full days, digital access to my newest Oracle deck, Guides of the Hidden Realms, which you're going to use, so you have a deck to work with, a downloadable and fillable gorgeous PDF workbook. It's giant. We overgive. But anyway, it's packed with exercises and prompts and access to our private attendees only Facebook group where you can connect with other participants during the weekend. But if you want to go even deeper, we have another opportunity. It's called the Inner Circle Experience. It's a little more money. It's $197. You will get lifetime access to the event replays for the entire weekend, and you can revisit the sessions, let the lessons sink in. You get 6 original guided meditation recordings from the event. They're designed to help you integrate the work and keep working with it after the event. Everything I do is always created to be repeated. And also you get an exclusive 90-minute Inner Circle ticket holders Oracle reading session with me and coaching at the end of day 1. So you get a chance to ask me anything. You get readings, from me about living beyond limits this year, and you'll have access to my private Zoom room where you may be called on to share, participate as a volunteer, or receive personal coaching during the event weekend. And plus you get everything included in the general admission ticket. And here's the best part. If you actually purchase the Inner Circle Experience ticket for $197 within the next 24 hours, you also get lifetime access to the replay of this New Way to Vision Board workshop, so you can revisit this powerful process as many times as you want. But again, that's just a special bonus today for people that purchase the Inner Circle Experience. So remember, whatever ticket you pick, you get to be part of a magical journey of self-discovery, connection, and stepping beyond limits. So pick the one that most resonates with you. Just go to ColetteBaron-Reid.com/beyond limits to get your ticket today. So we have 10 minutes. If any volunteers want to come up and share their drawings, or if you have questions, put them in the chat. I think we only have the 10 minutes anyway, so maybe I'm able just to get some people up. I don't know where to look now. Mark, would you be able to help me?
What are you looking for?
I don't know. I don't know if people are going to come up and ask me a question or what the deal is.
Number 2.
Here we go. Am I going to see somebody? I just see me.
I know.
Hey, Colette, I'm working on bringing people up right now. If you would
Okay.
like to come up, go ahead and raise your virtual hand. And
Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. And we can do a little chat. Thank you. Now you have some new ideas, right? Like, again, what you would do with the vision board you've done before, or a new way to do it, right? Hello. How are you? Oh, I can't hear her.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes,
Okay.
I can. Nice to meet you.
Oh my gosh, nice to meet you too. I did have a question about
Wow.
is
Oh,
that
that's great.
yeah, it was super fun. I loved all the thank yous and I was drinking tea, so it was perfect. But I was clear that this first circle, I think you were doing abundance, and that was my category, was money and prosperity. But then you
Yep.
made other circles that you said, was home, and then you and your husband. So I wasn't clear if that was
Yeah,
different.
that was on my finished one. So I'll show it to you. That was my finished one, right? So this was the one that I was teaching you with, right?
Yeah.
That you would get a chance to look at one particular category, right? So when I thought I would show you guys my finished version of it so that you understood what it could look like. So with mine, I ended up doing a full board. I did another one. The one I taught you is just how it works. This one I put different circles for different things.
Okay.
Right.
So
So
like
yeah.
the year ahead, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
if you're
So
one
that's why I told you
category-
to make one all that it's all wrecked up and then you'll make another one and you'll realize, oh, I could do more circles. Right.
Okay.
So it was just really how I was teaching it to you today.
Okay. But we can do you said one
Oh,
category.
yeah.
So those other circles will still be there with the same one category?
No, you do other categories if you want.
Okay.
Right?
So
So yeah,
one
just
category.
today I was showing you one category and I made a big one just to make a point, right? So just to make a point. So you might even want to do that, like use that as your map for like a bigger piece of Bristol board, right?
Right.
So you want a
Right.
bigger one. So then
Yeah.
you'll leave this much space for the zone of synchronicity. It'll be gorgeous once you're done. And then
Yeah.
if you even
Look like
want to, right? Can you see
Yeah.
how that could be cool?
And this is what it is, the finished product, sort of like there's no other pictures on it, or are we still cutting
Not
out the
unless not unless you want to, right? So remember I said you can do it two ways. Like I put pictures in that, I put little feet, right? So like I kind of put, like I put two hearts for me and Mark. I put a little house for my house.
Yeah, you drew. Okay.
I drew them. Yeah, I drew
Yes.
them all. Like
Yes.
just really, they're not even well drawn. I mean, I put a little circle for my sobriety. I put little birds and waves for travel, like to look for a
Yeah.
plane. Like it's so simple, but when I look at it, I know exactly what it is. My little dog, I put a bone, right?
Yes.
One little
Yes.
bone and a heart, right? So
Yeah.
the simpler, the better, because the mind only, and then it's like, oh, I feel really good. And once you've done it, you've felt the feelings. Then if you want to put, like do a collage on top of it, you can. Like if you've done a big Bristol board, then it becomes the base map, right? Of
Right.
energy, right? So then
Yeah.
people might want to do it that way. There's no hard and fast rule. It's just that the zone of synchronicity is the most important piece, that you leave those circular empty circles and
Yes.
things,
This
right?
out here is empty, just all the little thank you circles
Yeah.
with the surprise me.
Yeah, with the surprise me. Yeah, but you make them prettier. Like I made them, right? So like I made right? You just like, you keep putting them round and round. I must have sat for 2 hours saying thank you with those
Oh
circles.
yeah, and I see that you added a little
Right.
star in one of them too.
Yeah, a little star and an eye in one of them, and then a little, yeah, you just play with it and you go slow. And you're like, you get high. It's seriously, doing the circles, you get absolutely zoned out in
And
when
that light, the light
right?
that finally, I was waiting and I'm all patience, patience. And then all of a sudden I saw a green light starting to kind of move.
Wow.
And we have the same man story. Wanted a man with money, but did not get one, full of love. And he's a musician.
Right. Well, Mark was a musician and a writer, but then listen, he's the one that made me successful. He
A
ran
gift
my
from
business.
God, but no money, which is great.
A gift from God, right? Exactly. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's grab the next person. I think we have 5 minutes. Great. Hello, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Silke.
Hi,
Silke.
Silke. Hi,
Silke
Silke.
from Germany.
Oh, from
Hi.
Deutschland. Deutschland.
Yes, yes, yes.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's lovely. The one question I had, but it was really already answered more or less. It was, you said at the beginning, you just focus on one area of the 8 areas you mentioned.
That was
But
just for today when we did it today.
okay, fine.
We couldn't focus on all of them together.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's all I wanted to know because, yeah, on the final vision board, you can do more.
Oh yeah, you can do them all or whatever, how many you want. Like I do mine smaller by sections because this is a very small thing.
Yeah.
Like I'll show you one that I did for Spirit of Your Business. I did a tree. Like, we can do many different things. This is what I taught in Spirit of Your Business. Like you do one thing for one thing, or you do one big thing for everything. It's up to you. Yeah. So if you want to do an actual vision board for the year, I really suggest going out and get a bigger piece of Bristol board using what you learned today on the board, right? Make it bigger so that there's room.
Yeah.
Right, there's room. And then you use color. You can color it in. And then, like I said, if you still wanted to paste some pictures and stuff on, you can do it on top of the, right? And the affirmations, then you have more space. You put them very tiny words inside the circle. So this or something better. Or what I like to do is put all my affirmations on a piece of paper beside the board. Yeah, I typically don't like to put too much on the board because it gets cluttered looking.
Well, I have a book anyway where I already did the days now in between the years, and I've been collecting words for my main word for the year and things like that. So I can understand what you mean by you have it at the side.
Right? You know what I mean? Because then you
Yeah.
look at it and go, oh my gosh, and you have the categories there. It's just so easy. And if you draw it and you only put like one little symbol,
Yeah.
like I did for my pets, a bone and a little heart, like those are my dogs, right? Or
Yeah.
my exercise is 2 little feet, right? I'm walking. Nothing too major, right? Then your brain can clock it and go, oh, I want that. Oh, yes. And that's what I want more of. And then you look at, it's so easy. Then you already know, I've already rehearsed my affirmations over and over again. I know what to say when I look at the board.
Yeah. 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 I loved your little feet because at the moment I'm disabled and I can't
Ah,
walk properly. I can't walk without crutches. So my
right.
main ambition
Is to have little feet.
I haven't managed to do that last year. So this year is really, I really, really want to walk freely again. And
Perfect. Okay,
so,
so put your little feet in there and
yeah,
even make
put
a
my little,
statement. I walk freely and with confidence,
yeah,
unencumbered with like safely and freely this in 2025. I'm happy to walk with freedom and yeah, right. I
yeah,
know I broke my foot at the beginning of the year. I couldn't walk either. So
yeah. And I really loved your big bubble thing. I mean, I
oh,
really love
good.
that meditation.
Right?
So, okay.
Excellent. Okay. Mwah. I think we have time. We have 2 minutes for one person. I think, Curtis, I know you have to go really fast. Hi.
Hi, Colette. I'm
Hello,
Lisa.
darling.
A couple of my questions have been answered. I do have one more, but I'll share my
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Oh, that's really cool.
mostly about career here and
Yeah.
time freedom, financial freedom, geographic freedom. There's an Eiffel Tower in there.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Do you like when you look at it? Do you feel good when you see it?
Absolutely. Yep, it's wonderful.
Right?
Thank you.
Excellent.
So my question is, you had mentioned having this as a tool. How can we use cards
That
or
was
any other
when,
card as a tool?
yeah, so I'm actually going to go more into that at the event if you can come to the event. But I always pick a card every day to help me navigate the day. What do I need to know today? What's the energy I'm working with today? And how do I focus on it for the highest good? That's basically all I ask every day. So you could also ask, like in previous years, to help you get to the statement or the affirmation, you'll pull a card. You could just pull a card, say, what do I need to know about this category? Right? So what do I need to focus on for this category? And that's why it'll take you a week or so to do this. We decided not to do a full week, just to do something different for people, right? And because this is a really, like, seriously, when I got the zone of synchronicity, I couldn't wait to teach it to people. I was like, oh my God. And the drawing technique, it's just doodling. It makes it really more our own, even though we're used to, making the boards with the pictures on it underneath. This could be an amazing underneath map.
Yeah, okay. I did the 3-card spread that was in the instructions, and then
Great.
my future was happy, happy. So I'm looking forward
Wow,
to
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and again, right? So you've got the card readings that in the PDF that you got, and also you can play with it on a daily basis because you live your life 24 hours at a time. Anyway, thank you all for coming, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you came here. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely take some time to reflect on the exercise we did today. You can do it again for all the feelings you want to rehearse this year, add more bubbles to your board, do it again. And don't forget, we are going to have that fabulous event. I'm going into how we stay in the zone of synchronicity. Beyond Limits, the 2-day event on the 18th and the 19th of January. I'm going to be there, and I hope you're going to be there too. And Mark, thank you so much. And thank the team at Hay House for working so hard to make this work for everybody. Thank you all so much. Yay. Love you guys. We had over 40,000 people here. Isn't that crazy? I can't believe it. It's amazing. Bye, everybody.